breaking free. Yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression. It's out for liberty. Breaking free. Yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts. We're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting louder, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty. Breaking free, yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting louder, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty. Breaking free, yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. We're claiming our land.
I hate this show. Oh my goodness.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the show. Nothing like a little last minute technical glitch. I got kicked out while the intro was rolling. I got let back in with 4 seconds left, pulled up to the 3-point line, just hit it, and I'm here. So, wow, that's a little excitement to get me going. Welcome, everybody, to another Friday night edition of Are You Smarter Than a Politician? And as I scramble here last second. So tonight we are talking about from corporate bailouts to runaway Pentagon budgets. The state keeps selling failure as security. And our 3 bold contestants tonight, they're all political heavyweights that fight these fights. They're here to answer the tough questions like, does central planning strangle freedom? Should you have the right to anonymous payments with tools like Zano? And do red flag laws gut the Second Amendment? So buckle up, because tonight we're calling out the lies, exposing the power grabs, and putting freedom back on the table. And tonight, you keep the score, and we will decide, are they smarter than a politician? So, and let me see, let me pull this up here. Joining us is, for his second appearance, Larry Sharpe. How are you tonight, Larry?
I am amazing as always. Second time, because I was robbed last time. So I'm here to actually get back and take back my crown. So yes, I was robbed. I'm here for revenge.
Yeah, Chase beat you. Do you remember if you thought it was because of the cat or the lightsaber you lost?
It was the lightsaber. I was not ready for the lightsaber. The lightsaber was just too much for me to. How can I respond to an actual lightsaber? It wasn't fair. I cheated.
Do you have any Star Wars memorabilia on you tonight? Or
I do. I literally do.
Nice. There we go.
Yes, I literally do. Yes.
All right, that's a good call. You may have played that a little early. People are still coming in.
That's okay. That's okay.
Might have played that card a little early. Might have to do.
I'll bring it back out again. I'll bring it again.
All right. Well, appreciate having you here, Larry. Also, tell us about your show and anything you want to plug.
It's the best show ever. It's called The Sharpe Way. You should watch it almost every night at 7 p.m. It's also on Civil at 7 p.m. So if you don't watch it, you're missing something amazing.
Minus 100 because it's the second best show ever.
It's the best show ever. Plus 1,000.
Yeah, minus 100 for being untruthful. All right,
plus 10,000 is the number one.
So I plug your show every show just to let you know it's
better than your show. It's the best show. Thank you.
I'm trying to throw you some crumbs.
Crumbs.
Look at them. I'd like to narrow the gap. I'd like to narrow the gap between 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
You guys see what I did when I talked to this man, and I still show up on the show, and I still show up on the show.
You're a good sport. We appreciate having you. So, all right. And also, I think first time here, Ben Weir. How are you tonight, Ben?
I am doing very well. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me. I founded Punks for Liberty. I am involved with the Libertarian Party at multiple different levels on the LNC and also chair for LPNH. And I am very excited for tonight. It's going to be a good time. Yeah, like I want to make sure that I let everyone know that they should return their shopping carts at the grocery store. And if they don't return it, then they should at least put it in the law enforcement only parking spot.
So you said you're the chair of LPNH. I wasn't even aware that New Hampshire had a state affiliate. Is that new, or you guys don't get talked about at all? So
yeah, I honestly we fly pretty low key.
You should probably get an X account. That might help raise your profile a little bit.
Yeah, we fly pretty low key. You know, we try to stay like really not controversial and just speak the truth at all times. And, you know, it's not very popular. So obviously we're struggling on that front. Yeah.
So. If you need any advice how to raise your profile, you know, I'll help you out if you need. So
I appreciate it.
And your wife's very active on social media too. I really enjoy her. So give her a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too, right.
What was that?
She just had a birthday too, right?
Yeah. Last weekend. It's great.
Yeah,
she's out watching the baby right now. So
yeah,
I will.
She's awesome. So, all right. Cool. And rejoining us, I think this is his 98th appearance. And he goes by Scientific Libertarian. I will probably call him Cy all night. But it turns out he has a government tracking name, just as many of us do. And it is Carl Krambeck. How are you, Cy?
I'm doing great. Just kind of, I don't know. Do I need an intro?
This is an unusual event for us because you're in a chair, you're not in a bed, you're not wearing a costume, you're not eating something out of a can, you're not using like a disposable burner phone for your camera. I think you got your hair cut. You lost about 80 pounds. This is a whole new you.
He was intimidated by me, so he wanted to show up, you know, correct. He wanted to come correct because I was on the show. That's why.
Yeah.
That's
there's the biceps are going to start coming out for you guys. So yeah,
they are. They're coming.
Yeah.
They're coming right now. Yep.
Yeah. We should do the side-by-side gun show here. Yeah, there we go.
Do the gun show. Let's do it. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Do it. Yeah.
Mine's off camera. You can't see mine. It's not that I'm embarrassed. Mine's just off camera. It's the square. See, my hands are here, but yeah. All right. So, Cy, anything to promote? I don't know. Canned food or anything, Cy? Nothing? No. Okay.
I'll skip.
You're pretty well known for being in the chat, but you've been on the show a few times, so we're happy to have you back, and we appreciate all you do for the show. So this will be fun. So, and then I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Zano. And tired of surveillance coins dressed up as freedom tech? Zano is the real deal. Open source, enterprise grade privacy, scalable and secure, build, spend, and tokenize any asset without the peeping eyes. So Zano isn't just private, it's none of their business. And if you're new to this space, visit intro.zano.org to learn how Zano gives you the power to your own data, your money, and your assets all in one simple, secure platform built for real world freedom. So appreciate having them as a Friday sponsor on the show. And I've been using it with my son, and we're very excited about that. And then one other quick shout out. I know that
hold on.
Yeah.
Why do you like Zano? You say you're using it with your son. Why do you like it?
Well, I mean, it's all of the benefits of cryptocurrency and blockchain, except it's totally private, and
you should say that.
I did say that. I don't think you ever listened to me, Larry. I think that this is.
You didn't say that. You didn't say it was because you and your son. You didn't make it personal. You just now made it personal.
I did. I put me and my son in there. I pimped out my own son, and
You
I'm
did
not even
not
getting
pimp
credit
your
for
son
it.
well enough at all. If you're gonna pimp your kids, do it right or don't bother doing it. So I'm telling you.
Hey, Mini Free, get your ass in here. You're doing
Thank
a Zano
you.
intro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God,
I'm going to get it tattooed on him. So, yeah.
Much better.
Yeah.
Make his middle name Zano and you'll be good.
Yeah. All right.
Now we're
Can I get back to my show? This is
Now
like
back to your show.
This
Yes.
is the Freedom Fest interview where you interviewed me, but I actually ended up interviewing you. This is how this is turning out yet again.
True.
So, yeah. And so, Larry, if you allow me to segue here, I know you've been following this very closely and you've been an advocate for this too, but someone pointed out to me, we talk about Dexter Taylor all the time on this show. And I wanted to point out his Give, Send, Go. He's got an appeal coming up and he's about $3,000 away from hitting his goal to pay for that appeal. So it's givesendgo.com. DTaylor_2A_legal. It's up on your screen. Take a screenshot. Make sure you go donate to that. Dexter's a friend of ours and was absolutely hosed by 30-something counts with ghost gun laws and got 10 years in jail. He's been on Spaces with us. He's been on Larry's show. Really great guy. And so we wanted to bring that up and give him
want to
a
be
shout
clear
out.
on this piece. Literally, the government, with a man who actually created zero victims whatsoever, made a black teenage girl fatherless. I'm not joking. The government did that. He made no victims. He harmed nobody, sold nothing, did everything legal, and they took everything he did legally as evidence against him. And then the judge said in her actual courtroom, she said the Second Amendment doesn't exist here. So what she said is the Bill of Rights does not exist. And her punishment as a judge for ignoring the Bill of Rights was nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just an absolute joke. I mean, it's just absolute miscarriage of justice.
Yep.
Totally against the Second Amendment. Just absolutely terrible. So, and he's a great guy. He's a smart guy. He's a libertarian. He's a man of faith. I mean, he could talk to so many things. He could be making the world a better place. And instead he's in a jail cell, not being a parent. So once again, I'll throw it up one more time. Givesendgo.com, DTaylor_2A_legal. So help him out if you can. And let me jump back into this. We are on YouTube and Rumble at those addresses. I know you can find us on Larry's Rumble or Larry's YouTube and Facebook right now. Thanks for joining us. And Ben's got us on Twitch and X, and Carl's got us on a TV in his back room right now. So that's very helpful. So thank you for that. And share this out, please. And let's see if we can get as many people hearing these great guys as possible. And then let me introduce Terry here. Terry, how are you tonight?
I'm busy already and I love it. Let's go. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for doing this. And, she'll be in the chat and doing the score. So all complaints go to her. And yeah. So, and then you can follow me on X at Freedom for Us for All. Terry is Bats T76. Bats T76, and you can get our shirts, including the one I'm wearing. My other car is a Killdozer shirt, and we've got our Taxation is Theft and Make Anarchy Great Again shirts. Those are all available at freedomsuperstore.com. And all right, so Terry, I'll put you back in the back. We'll talk to you in a little bit. And let's see, I got people. I got you in the right order. The technical glitches apparently are stopping for me now. So excellent. So if someone were to win tonight, they would get the Ron Paul holding the Ron Paul trophy, Ron Paul and Murray Rothbard bobbleheads, the Mike Johnson Swamp Ass cologne, the Ayn Rand Fountainhead teddy bear, as well as the Lego Killdozer, because nobody talks about the Killdozer more than me and Casey. And the rules are, I am the government. Whatever I say goes. Scoring errors count. Life isn't fair. Suck it up, Buttercup. Nobody cares. The rules are you can debate each other. You can veto someone else's answer. You can tariff their answer. And if you're a Democrat and you like that somebody worked very hard for something and you don't want to do that, you can redistribute their answer. everyone starts off with a negative 500 points because the government gets paid first, of course. Here's how the scoring works. The chat controls the score. So if you're in one of these platforms, you can go into the live chat and you can give or take up to 100 points from the contestants. And you can give us a reason. You can not give us a reason. You can critique their decor. Lots of things are available. Scientific will not be tearing apart people's interior design tonight. So that space is open if you want to make some comments about that. So, all right. You gentlemen ready? Lightning round. And we will be going to you first, Larry.
Okay.
The category is central planning and the economy.
Always works.
Is central planning responsible for most economic crises? I almost said that right.
Generally speaking, yes. There are some exceptions. Like every once in a while, you'll find some horrible thing happen that just screws everything up. It does happen once in a while, but generally speaking, it can't. The reason why central planning fails is because it cannot react quickly. That's the problem with central planning. It can't react quickly. And for it to work and be fair, it has to create rules. And then what happens is now people are no longer judged by the results. They are judged by following the rules. And therefore the outcome is irrelevant. And therefore the outcome suffers because you are rewarded by following the rules, not by outcomes.
All right.
Was that fast enough this time? I didn't take too long this time.
That I was shocked. I really, you couldn't see my face, but my jaw dropped. It hit the table. But and a great answer as always, Larry. And all right, side to you. Does centralizing power slow innovation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you have a centralized power structure, it's hard to have competition within an area. You can't just plan it in one singular area. You have to have competition within a marketplace that would actually spur up more innovation as you go along.
Utterly not true whatsoever. The reason why that's not true is because you can have centralized planning versus centralized planning. The example is the space race and also the atomic race. So centralized planning doesn't necessarily do it if you have outside competition. So the scientific libertarian is absolutely wrong. Ta-da.
Wow. Wow. We're feisty already.
He's wrong. You look at the space race, the atomic race. Centralized planning does not necessarily stop innovation if there's outside competition, in which case there was. So he's incorrect.
Was the Declaration of Independence central planning?
It was.
The space
Thank you.
barely a competition. We won it easily.
No, we didn't win it easily. Neither of those we win easily. The space race, we didn't win easily at all. Sputnik was up before us.
Yeah, the Russians.
So incorrect, my friend.
What, they could send a dog up there? That's not much.
That's the space race.
I saw in an episode of Taxi that the moon landing was fake.
See that? And it was fake on top of it. See that?
Yeah.
So the whole thing was fake. So there we go.
All right.
Take that. Take that.
There we go. There we go. All right.
Score one,
Ben, to you.
score one for central planning.
What?
All right, Ben. Should industries regulate themselves when possible?
Yes, because everything should be privatized, and essentially this is what holds up the medical industry the most, as well as like the FDA. Trying to police itself can suck sometimes, but for the most part, I do think that like industries can contain this work themselves, and generally that's better for people if it's more like privatized and not done through the government. So
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ben's wrong also.
the FDA sucks.
But yes, correct. But your assumption is outside the industry is only government, and that's the false assumption. You should regulate. An industry can be regulated by the private sector, but not in that industry, right? If an industry only regulates itself from industry people, what often happens is they then create the same monopolies that governments do.
That's actually, I'll say, like, I think that's like actually like if I'm talking about like the music industry, for instance.
Yep.
The music industry tried to regulate itself by creating a bunch of IP and copyright laws to ban LimeWire, to ban Napster.
Yep.
And it actually damaged the music industry more than it
Yes.
helped. So that's true.
Yep.
However, the music industry, the DIY industry, also regulates itself by creating new platforms and allowing more like freedom to share. Like after that happened, a lot of bands and musicians and music friendly people started their own platforms, such as Bandcamp, so that they can start releasing their own music on their own without the need of a label, which is now actually better for the industry because they can do everything DIY.
I'm with you. My point being, we shouldn't assume that it has to be industry or government. There can be non-government private organizations that can still regulate some that aren't within the industry. And generally speaking, you will have a better outcome when it's more neutral people than people in the industry. I am trying to mess with Carl's head. I can see it in his eyes. I'm messing with him.
All right. Larry, back to you. The category is corporate welfare and cronyism. Should too big to fail companies be broken up?
With the current system, yes. In theory, no. In theory, they should be able to fail on their own, right? We shouldn't be trying to knock down Goliaths. We should be building more Davids so that the Goliaths fall on their own. With the current system to where the government props up all the Goliaths, we have to, which sucks. I'd rather have a better system where it doesn't happen. But with the current system, yes. With a better system, no.
I like that you debated yourself on that one. That's an interesting technique as well.
I'm super smart, man. I debate myself. I do it. It's true. And modest too. The best part about me is how modest I am. That's my best part.
You're so humble.
Oh my God.
It's true. It's true. It's true. You're right.
Such a wallflower. I don't even know how we get you on here, you know.
It's tough.
Yeah. All right. Side to you. Should taxpayer money ever go to private corporations?
Ever?
Ever.
Oh, now I got Carl thinking.
No, probably not. But there are some cases where the government's digging their own grave, and I like those. Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare are the biggest government funders ever. And if they want to look into like cell targeting research or something like that, grants to a private company to the point where you're actually curing diseases, that would actually be a case of the government digging its own grave currently. And that would be nice, but, ideally, no.
All right.
I would argue the opposite. And the opposite, what I mean by is, every time the government gets money, it has to achieve something. If we're going to agree the government has to do something, whatever that thing is, then the more times I can have a private company compete and go for it, the more I'd want that, instead of creating a government agency. So if I can create it, if I have an opportunity and the government is going to do something, if I cannot have a government agency and instead use privatized companies that can be rewarded, that can be fired, that can have to compete against each other, I would rather have that if possible. An example might be something like the DMV. If we're going to have a government do the DMV, I'd rather have multiple private companies that could issue licenses and things of that sort, so the best ones could survive and do the best, rather than having a DMV.
Okay. Ben, to you. Is corporate welfare worse than individual welfare?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to say yes, because it ends up being a tax on citizens twice, because no matter how much they try to approve themselves or get the free money from the government, there's still a lot of that extra cost that's passed off to the consumer no matter what. And ultimately, for instance, like, I don't know, this is a little bit different, but if you consider like organizations, like police organizations, kind of like more like corporations and how they're structured, for every for every one cop that you get, you pay for 3. And I think it's the same case with a lot of corporate welfare. So I'm going to say that corporate welfare is worse, but very slightly. They both suck. They're both terrible. So.
Great answer. The chat's on fire here, so let me jump into the chat. Shirley's joining us from across the pond. Thanks, Shirley. Dave is joining us. He says, what we need is common sense sandwich control. We need a 14-day waiting period to buy a sandwich.
Those
I
are
feel like
dangerous.
I feel like the mayo would go bad in 14 days unless it's.
Why do you hate the children?
Yeah.
Why do you hate the children?
Yeah. D's here. 1,000 to Larry for being the smartest guy on the panel. Second smartest.
True.
Pointing that out. He's trying to narrow the gap though. No sound bites allowed. Looking forward to Larry winning this time, as I expect he deserved last time. Larry for president. I like it, Josh.
Also true.
Suppose you were an idiot and suppose you were a member of Congress, but I repeat myself. Yep, that's a great Mark Twain quote. Burnen's here. Happy Friday, Burnen. Nice Pastor Tubb still has a cameo in the intro. Yeah.
Great.
We were trying to get Tubb back on it. I feel like he was being truthful when he said he hated the show. So Amity's here. What's up? 1,000 to Terry Girl Power. Hey, Vader's worth 100. All right, got 100 for Vader there. Governor Larry for Dan. Minus 100 to Larry for saying his show's better than Freeze. Yeah, thank you, Amity. Appreciate it. Waz, what's up, Waz? Kilburn reposted. Thanks. Darth Larry doesn't have a food ring to it. Okay. Minus 100 to Ben for being excited. 100 points.
I think what he meant was a good ring to it. That's what he meant, not food. He meant good. And it's not Darth Larry. It will be Darth Sharpe or right, which is better.
Yeah. I got food ring, so I feel like it was a bundt cake or something with like a hole in it, maybe a donut.
That's delicious. Okay, let's have that.
Yeah, but 14-day waiting period on bundt cakes too. I think we should throw that out there.
No, just the sandwiches. Don't get them confused.
Best libertarian live stream. Yeah, my audience is a little bigger than libertarian, so I'll give you that one. 100 to Ben for returning shopping carts. Very nice. Welcome, TK.
I agree with that one.
Yeah, got another one for returning the carts. Casey's here. What's up, Casey? Check out They Both Suck, Casey's show. 100 Decide for the gun show. There we go. Terry's getting hot in the background. 100 Decide just cuz.
Okay, no, that's bogus. That's bogus. No, that one doesn't count.
Nico's here for Mr. Sharpe. Minus 100 Larry because I missed his intro.
Well, then watch it afterwards. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Oh shit, Larry's already taking over the talking. Yeah, I lost control in the backstage area. So 100 to Larry for calling our free.
He means calling out you.
Calling out free. There we go.
That's what he means.
There's a lot.
I understand what these guys mean.
I have spelling or reading issues to start out with. So if you could just put the right words you want me to say, then I'll mess it up. That would be more helpful to me. 100 to Larry for fighting the government. Kim's here. 50 to Larry for Zeno. Minus 100 to Larry for arguing with the host. Yep. Thank you, Amity.
Yeah, but she's unfair. So no, it doesn't count.
But then you also got 100 for arguing with me.
Oh, that's even. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Going against the host is popular on this show. 100 to Terry for being Terry. Minus 1,000 to Free for already triggering Larry with judges. 100 to Larry for noting the bad judge. Terry, rein in these guys. We haven't even gotten to the prizes. 10 minutes. 100 to Larry. We fixed it Wednesday on civil.
That's my civil show Wednesday at 7 p.m.
This is not the time for promos. We had that at the beginning.
Larry, I know, but she gave me one.
Larry, try to get with the program here.
I'm sorry.
100 minus 100 side for not following him back. Yeah, he's a tough follow. Missy's here. 100 to Larry for being on the show. Lyndon advertising merch -5, but it's great merch. It's great merch. Hey OB, follow OB and check out her artwork on her website. Minus 100 to Larry for making circles in the air while he talks. Minus 100 to Larry for not understanding short answers. No, Larry's problem is not the short answers tonight. It's that he answers everyone else's question.
That's my issue, but I do it shortly. God, I'll go fast next time, Bernie. Yeah.
Larry's socializing other people's questions is really what's going on. He's redistributing the answers. Minus 100 Larry for not understanding short answers again. Plus 10 to Larry. 100 to Larry for answering intelligently. 100 to Larry for his ta-da. 100 to Larry for he corrects his opponents. 100 to Ben for starting the first argument.
Did I?
100 to Larry. I don't know. I feel like we started in an argument. Like maybe you got us out.
Do you want to go again?
Yeah. 100 to Larry for history, 100 to Ben for privatizing industry, 50 to Larry for remembering Sputnik, minus 50 to Cy for forgetting it, 50 to Ben for being too young to know what Sputnik was.
How old do you think I am? I turned 36 in less than a month.
You a baby? Are you kidding me?
I'm
You a baby? 36. You a baby?
100 to Larry for being right.
Different.
Thank you.
Insurance should regulate industry. Welcome, Jim. 100 stipulating differences between Davids and Goliaths. Green Man's here. What's up, Green Man? Minus 100 for everyone without a manly beard on the panel.
I got a kind of beard.
Follow Green Man and check out his stuff. He's the best creator on X. Absolutely.
Beards are lazy.
You got lost points for answering everything again, Larry.
I didn't answer the last two. That's it. Now I'm answering all of them.
You lost points from yourself for your modesty.
I like that.
100 to Larry for being honest. 100 to Larry for hitting both sides of the issue. We got a lot of Larry fans in here, but Larry's already up by about 10,000. 200 to Larry for being the best looking guy on this panel.
True.
50 for admitting he's humble.
Also true.
Ticketmaster needs to be regulated by the music industry. 10 to Carl, 10 to Larry.
Yep.
That's from Patty. Welcome, Patty. Minus 100 to side. The government doesn't have any money to spend. It's my money. 100 to Larry for being on point from Missy. 100 to Larry for commenting on the DMV. 50 to Larry, minus 25 because of the DMV. Any type sucks.
So
Larry's like the live version of community notes, always popping up when nobody asked.
True.
Oh
You're
my
not wrong.
God.
Chris, you're not wrong.
100, that's a great question. To Ben. 100 to Ben, no welfare for corporations. 100 to Larry for being himself. 50 to Ben, corporate welfare sucks. It's government picking winners and losers. Larry got a super chat. It's encouraging that shows brings together the liberty movement's best and brightest. But most weeks we do.
Not every week.
Not every week.
Why'd you say that on this show?
Well, I wasn't talking about this panel. Absolutely not. So if you're reading into stuff, 100 to Larry for loving the children, minus 100 to Larry for being muted, 50 to Larry for Darth Sharpe.
Yep.
100 to Larry.
I like Darth Sharpe. It's better.
Yeah, and another 100 for Darth Sharpe. Minus 100 to Larry for saying our scores don't count. Minus 100 to Larry for thinking that he is the government and saying I don't count. Plus 100 to Larry for explaining. Terry's gonna have carpal tunnel after tonight. 100. Thank God Larry's here to translate everything for free. 100 to you all for being good looking. Yeah, but I'm being sexist, but I'm an old lady. Larry, next show you do, I will explain more about the national grid pipeline they want you to put in. 50 to Larry is always with the program. 100 to Larry for being a smooth talker.
True.
1,000 because Larry answers everybody else's questions. 100 to Larry for letting others talk occasionally. And
sometimes.
I'm still scrolling here. 100 to Larry for not being Carl.
No, to Chuck for not being Carl.
To Chuck for not being Carl. All right.
My uncle's name, so he's been getting a lot of hate mail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were Chuck last time. That's right. That was a Terry typo.
My name's Chuck, so they keep sending it to all the hate mail to Chuck.
Minus 100 to Ben for calling sexy beards lazy. Minus 100 to Cy for putting a Coors skin on his Bud Light. Minus 100 or plus 100 to Cy for the Coors. 180 to Larry for being beyond intelligent. And I think I caught up. I am is here. I joined late, so I'm deducting 100 from everybody. That's fair. All right. Wowza. That was a lot for the first break there. So, all right. Back to Larry.
Uh-oh.
Categories: federal spending and oversight. Is the Pentagon budget too big?
Sadly, it's impossible to know because they can't seem to pass an audit and no one knows what's in it. But I think we can obviously say it's too big. The idea of us needing this much money for what we do is insane. Even if you want a large defense budget, if you wanted one, you need the nuclear triad, which you can get rid of one of them, get rid of all the bombers. You could just do land-based ICBMs and the submarine warfare. That's plenty for nuclear. You just need some form of Navy that would at least, at a minimum, guard the sea lanes. You need that. So we have that for the sea lanes. And then perhaps you need a lot of special forces for going into non-nation things like taking out guys like Osama bin Laden or something like that. So maybe something like that. Maybe would be all we'd actually need if we wanted something like that. But clearly it is. But sadly, we can't tell.
All right. I like that you're talking faster to get more in.
You want me to? You get mad at me.
No, I love it. It's technically the chat that gets mad.
They're beautiful words.
I could spend an hour just on the Pentagon. I'm like, I don't want to kill you.
Yeah. All right. Side to you. Does Washington overspend to buy votes?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they funnel money back into their congressional districts, and then they say, look at all this amazing stuff that we brought from Washington with us. And then, that's what they use in their campaigns typically. So, yeah, they funnel back to their districts. They organize things in a very inefficient manner. As long as it's in my district, I don't care. I'll vote for it. And then they sign the bill that they never read.
I got to add to that, though. It isn't just Washington. The states actually do it even worse. And what I mean by that is the states are always asking for more federal funds, number one. And then they give the funds out and say, see, look what I brought home. Out on top of that, the idea that many states now are doing, New York State's one of them, matching funds to where I'm running in a primary. I'm a Democrat or Republican running in a primary. So if you're not a Democrat or Republican, you can't even vote in that primary. You can't vote for me, but your taxpayer dollars match whatever someone gives. So some Democrat gives someone $100, the state matches it with $600 of your taxpayer dollars. And that's just to get votes. So it's even worse than what he's saying. I'm doing a yes and.
All right. Ben, to you. Should all federal spending be published online in real time?
God, how fast would you need to be to watch those dollars go out the door? Yes, everything should be transparently posted online. Maybe if that was a real thing that actually they would still spend just as much. Let's be honest, they're still going to spend all that money. But there's no way anybody could possibly keep track of all that. But it would be good for the public to be able to keep the government accountable. And all of us autistic, nerdy libertarians would comb through those with a fine-tooth comb, I'm sure, and instead of fight with each other, right? So we could definitely make some noise with that.
Yeah, it'd probably look like our chat. All right. Larry, to you, category is military spending and priorities. Do overseas military bases cost more than they protect?
Without question. Now, the reality of it is, should we have overseas bases? Again, in a perfect world, no, we would have some way of us all agreeing to protect our sea lanes, which we need to keep our economies going. Right now, sadly, America is the only deep blue sea Navy that could actually do that job. So because of that current situation, we have to have overseas bases to make sure that we can, fuel our Navy. Now, but that's all we need. And that's probably 10% of the bases we have now. We could cut our bases probably by at least 75%, because at least that 25% of our bases would be enough, clearly, to simply protect the sea lanes until we find a better answer for that. So yes, except for the few that we need to protect our sea lanes.
I do not want to fuel my navel, just FYI.
Your navel needs some fueling, my friend. I've smelled it. It's terrible.
All right, side of you. Do endless wars make us less safe?
Yeah, you do have the blowback factor. Every single time we get involved in a foreign war, we have, we bomb majorities, innocent civilians. And then all of a sudden we create new terrorists, and then we have to, defund the terrorists we were funding to fund new terrorists so that the new terrorists can take out the old terrorists that we were already funding. So it's a vicious, vicious cycle. And it'd be nice to get out of that.
It's not just the wars that we're actually actively fighting. It's also Israel's wars and apparently Ukraine's war too. That make us less safe. Arguably, I think the Ukraine war, which we've been, backdoor funding and providing support for so long, I think that's arguably making us more. And we'll see how these negotiations go with Trump and Putin today. I'm not gonna hold my breath. It's not gonna do anything. I don't think so. We all know how all these people are with their egos and personalities. But I think that makes us probably more like less safe than any of the other wars, personally. So at least right now.
I don't understand, Ben, why you hate the troops. Why do you hate the troops? You know,
I
hate
was
us.
one.
Yeah, they hate us. They hate us because we're free, Carl. Okay, they hate us because we're free. We fight them over there, so we have to fight them over here. Did I hit every one of them? I think I hit every one of the bullshit points. Right? They hate us because we're free.
They're just
fight us over there.
Fair.
You hate the troops. I got all three. Okay, good. Yeah, I did all three talking points. I'm good. Yes.
I like that Cy brought up the terrorist regime change wars. I don't think we talk about that enough. Like, it's usually just regime change. This is actually terrorist regime change. So,
right.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah, if it's not Assad terrorists, we're fighting Netanyahu terrorists, right? So,
yeah,
I thought it was Hamas terrorists right now. Is it Hamas?
Okay.
It's easy to lose track.
We have always been at war with East Asia. Do you remember that from 1984? We have always been at war with East Asia. Wait a minute, weren't we at war with like Eurasia? I don't know. We've always been at war with them. We've always been at war with Hamas, I think, or Iran, I think, or whatever. We've always been at war with them. What's wrong with you?
Right. And they all call us 9/11 too, right? So.
And they all call us 9/11. Correct. Yes.
Has the new Iranian terrorist group dropped yet? Do we know
they're coming soon.
It's coming.
And they did 9/11. Both.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Yes. There we go. Yes.
That was the Nephilim, actually. But yeah.
All right, Ben, to you. Should the defense budget be audited yearly?
It should be audited monthly. Absolutely. With how quickly everything's ballooning, and it seems like new money's spent and coming and going all the time. Like, for instance, like even there's a lot of like conflicts of interest with this stuff. Like the Secretary of Defense under Biden, he was on the board for Raytheon, and he was spending a ton of money and selling a ton of bombs to other countries that were Raytheon contracts, increasing his portfolio. And like nobody really called that out, but I think that it's like really important to keep people accountable, especially when it comes to like defense spending and military spending, because all the time money just disappears. They're dropping off pallets of cash in the middle of Afghanistan, and it's just gone. All that money gets used to buy AKs from Russia. So yeah, we definitely need to audit it more than yearly.
All right, Larry, back to you. New category, surveillance state. Should mass surveillance be banned?
How else are you going to create a social credit score to make sure we're all good people? How else can you do that? Oh, wait, I don't want that. So yes, I'm sorry. I forgot. I don't actually want that at all. So of course, mass surveillance should be banned without question. The problem that we have with mass surveillance is I understand the logic behind it. The logic is we want to keep people safe. And that's the logic. I understand that. It doesn't work ever. Surveillance doesn't actually work. What it does do is it does allow us to often catch people faster. That's true. If your goal is after the bad thing is done, we may catch the person faster. Okay, that makes sense. I get it. But if someone's going to do something like a suicide or something like that, doesn't matter. And the deed's already done. The only thing that stops bad stuff is a vigilant actual populace. That's what actually stops things. So I'd rather us be more vigilant than have a surveillance state. Surveillance state is security theater at best. It spends a lot of time, energy, and money, and winds up putting people in prison who shouldn't be in prison. It does. The one positive thing it does, you often catch the person faster. That's about it. That's the only advantage. But there's at least 40,000 horrible things on top of that.
All right. Side to you. Does encryption weaken national security?
Does it weaken national security?
That was the question.
I mean, like for citizens or obviously it would depend on who's doing the encryption. If the government's doing the encryption, obviously it would, increase national security. If the citizens are doing the encryption, at this point it doesn't matter because there's a camera, everywhere. We're on camera. I don't know if you know that, but
I'm aware.
So I don't know. That's
okay. If you've got nothing to hide, why are you worried? Carl. Okay.
Hmm.
Like if you got nothing to
Because-
hide, why are you worried, Carl?
Palantir is always watching. So
Yeah.
Just
Have you
saying.
seen my search history? It's awful.
Oh, you have lots to hide. Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
All right, Ben, to you. Should the government need a warrant for any financial data?
the government should need a warrant to do literally anything that involves your personal data, your money, your property, to talk to you. Probably like they should have full, like, clear permission for all of that. And you should be able to tell them to F off. So, and you should tell them to F off. So
As much as you can, absolutely.
Yeah, but
All
hold on now. Hold on here. Now, the Supreme
Here-
Court has
here
said
we were doing so good.
No, those-
we got through 5 questions so far. We're 45
yeah,
minutes. in.
see? And then
Yeah.
you and now you don't stop. All right. Okay. I've been good enough. Look, let's be clear. The Supreme Court has already said that corporations are people. If they are people, they have Fifth Amendment rights, right? They can't give up any information. They might incriminate themselves.
All right.
corporations you're talking about?
That's what the Supreme Court said. Corporations are people. If they're people, they have their Bill of Rights. So they get their own guns, right?
Well, the
And
government's never been wrong on any Supreme Court decisions.
ever.
right?
Never been wrong ever. Correct. Never been wrong ever. And therefore, they should not do anything because corporations have Fifth Amendment rights. So they can't if the government wants to take something, they have to say, no, I can't give you information, government, because I, as a corporation, I may incriminate myself. So I have a right to give you nothing at all. Sorry.
I think we should start promoting that businesses have Second Amendment rights and
Yes.
First Amendment rights. So
Correct. Yes, they do. Absolutely. I love that.
Called Citizens United because all the citizens, they all hate it.
That's the reason why. Yes. It unites them in
I heard
hatred. True.
All right. Back to it. Back to you, Larry. New category, National Guard and domestic deployment. And if you want to learn more about Defend the Guard, go to bringourtroopshome.us. We're actually having Dan McKnight on soon. He was on now I'm blanking on the name of the show. I'll hit you back with that. But so the question to you, Larry, is should the National Guard only be used domestically?
Yes, that's the whole point of it, right? They're supposed to be for that issue, for literally internal states, right? It's mostly for states only. They're basically state militias. So yes. Now, can a governor decide for a reason, or if he wants to send them off to do something else? I guess you could, but they shouldn't be. They should be used specifically for domestic. Correct. That's why it's called the National Guard. We have an Army, Navy, and Marine Corps and Air Force to go off and, I guess, bomb people and stuff. But anyway, so much defense. We have a Department of Defense, which is actually Department of Offense. But we're supposed to have a Department of Defense. National Guard is only internal. Yes, domestic only.
Okay. Side you. Should deploying troops inside the U.S. require congressional approval?
I mean, if you're deploying troops in the U.S., you would, as long as it's not against our own citizens, I mean, that would be an invasion at that point. So, yeah, I mean, you would need Congress to act pretty quickly for that.
it's no business of Congress's. It should be up to each individual state and to decide what they do with the troops that are, their own National Guards facility.
But that's the piece. Is it National Guards or is it Army, Navy, Air? If it's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Congress should be, whenever they deploy anywhere, Congress should, assuming they're going to engage the enemy, assuming that's the case, whoever the enemy is, Congress needs to say, hey, yes, you get to go engage the enemy. That's what's supposed to happen.
That's the point. But if we're promoting Defend the Guard here, the point of Defend the Guard is to bring it back to the states as a state issue so that the states can decide where they send those troops, not the
if it's
president.
National Guard. And that's not what the question. The question was vague. If the question was National Guard, I agree with you completely. If the question is not National Guard, what was supposed to happen is, because the Congress was closest to the people, the Congress would be saying, hey, I'm sending my people in my area to maybe die and be killed by the enemy. So therefore, I'm going to vote and say, yes, it is worth my sons and at the time sons, but now sons and daughters, to go get killed in front of in a field. So yes, Congress should always be involved in deploying troops that are going to face the enemy. Now, if it's domestically, I agree with you. It should be by the states only.
All right. And the show I was looking for is If by Whiskey that Dan was on last night with Mark and Jason. So check out If by Whiskey if you want to see that. And all right, Ben, to you. Does using the Guard for law and order erode
Absolutely.
trust?
Yep, it sure does. And we noticed this, like, the president kind of has been trying to use the National Guard to uphold his personal motives, whether it be, here's an example. He actually sent ICE, so it's not the Guard. Just like Newsom's rally that he had, where he had people arrested at Newsom's rally. But this happens all the time. They'll do rallies in DC and send the National Guard for peace. Actually, I think this might have happened just recently too. They had a rally in DC, and they demanded that the National Guard go there to create peace. But a lot of times when the government calls for the military or police action to create peace, they end up making things a lot worse. This happens a lot. You see it with the WTO riots in the late 90s, how they basically just adding the police into the situation, closing off all the streets, made that entire thing a whole nightmare situation for the governor. It turned into Beirut over there. And it happened with riots, even just over, more recently with the BLM riots in, all over the country. Police were escalating. It's never ends up being law and order. It always just ends up feeding into the narrative of the government. So
sadly, Ben is not correct at all. The reality is most Americans actually, and I hate it. I think Ben's thought process is correct because I agree with Ben's thought process, but the vast majority of Americans, they don't think that way at all. They love when National Guard comes in. They love it. Oh, I see it in New York City. They put National Guard into the subway. New Yorkers ate that shit up. They loved it. When the National Guard came in for the BLM riots, people loved it. National Guard, even half the people in California were okay with it. Most Americans actually think the National Guard to do law and order is fine. It does not, sadly, it does not erode trust in the government at all for most Americans. It just doesn't.
All right. Enter scores. If you haven't put your scores into the chat, do that now. We will check the scores. Let's get through a couple more comments. Casey wants to know when we're starting the show. Missy, 100 to Larry for pointing out we need to audit the Fed. Lorna reposted. Thank you, Lorna. 200 to Larry for truth on Pentagon gluttony. 100 to Scientific for the Dolly Parton picture. I'm zooming in.
I agree with that one.
There we go.
Okay. Yes, yeah. I agree.
That's gorgeous. Yep, absolutely.
I agree. Yep. Give him the 100 points. I'm in.
Yeah,
that works.
That's way better than Darth Larry.
It's better than Darth Sharpe. You're not wrong. I agree. Yeah. Like I know when I'm beaten. That's fine. Yeah. Yes.
100 to Larry for speaking quickly.
My skill set.
James is here. I'm sure the neocons will justify that there is no need to audit military spending. Let's see here. Larry talks fast. Got 100. 500 for talking fast. 100 to talking faster than Cy. Oh, we're benchmarking you against Cy. There we go. Larry's talked so much, Ben hasn't even had a chance to be controversial.
I've stopped him. I've stunted him. Yes.
I've never heard anything about you being controversial, Ben. This is all new to me. 100 to Larry for being pro-open primaries. No parties spend for votes. Government spends to get donors, kickbacks, and control the public. Minus 100 to Cy for missing it. Minus 50 to Larry for the same reason. 500 to Larry for living in the belly of the beast.
True.
Moved to New Hampshire.
Plus to
yeah,
Larry.
hold on. Just be clear. Zoran Mamdani is my assemblyman. AOC is my congressperson. I literally live in the belly of the beast. I do.
Boo.
Yes.
I could fix her. All right. Points to Larry for a good answer and plus 100 to his opponent. 100 to Ben for transparency. 100 to Ben. Make some noise with that. Crazy from Doge. We learned that some agencies have their own money printers. 100 to Larry for answering correctly. 100 to Larry for the quick side quips. 100 to Cy for the blowback.
Good one too.
Girls are on the way home. Life game night. So minus 500 to Larry just cuz. And plus Cy, and plus 500 to Ben for his first appearance. Y'all have a good night. Thanks, TK. 100 to Larry for not interrupting there. Minus 300 each of you for being too pro-government. 100 to not Chuck for confusing who the terrorists are by calling everyone terrorists. 75 to Ben for being the youngest against these seasoned political bullshitters. 500 to Ben for stealing Larry's auto answer. 100 to Cy for pointing out Hamas terror. The Iranian terrorist group is also called the CIA. 100 points
Also
to
true.
the quirky movie quotes. 100 to Ben, they should be audited monthly. 1,000 to Carl for being smart and handsome from the Slaying Twins. Thank you. Wrong Ben, minus 100. Correct answer, no funding until an audit is completed. 100 to Larry for stating the obvious. Minus 25 for Ben. It was pallets of cash to Iran under Obama, not Afghanistan. 10 for being young and almost remembering the issue. Minus 30 to Larry for not recognizing that we already have an SC system in this country. I won't drop names, but you know what I'm talking about. 100 points to Larry for pointing out the surveillance state. 200 to Larry for being a smartass tonight. 100 to Larry for answering succinctly. Larry, you will comply. What are you afraid of, Larry? They're only acting in our best interest.
True, they are.
Minus 50 to Carl for not being pro personal security. Minus 100 to Cy for saying he is on camera. A nuke just fell in Central Park and wiped out all of Larry's points because he talks more than Howard Stern in open mic night at a strip club. All right, so he got nuked. I got to play this because I actually made this. So there we go. There's the nuke. There's the nuke. Now they all run off. He turned into an elephant. There's a lot of chaos going on there.
Turned into an elephant.
I didn't say.
Because he was
they were
actually a
good.
Republican the whole time. See that?
Yeah.
He was Republican the whole time.
I didn't say they were good. I just
the
said that I
mascot.
made them.
Yeah.
All right. So Larry lost his points there. 200 to Larry. Lots to hide. Okay. 100 for Ben getting an answer fully correct. Minus 500 Larry. You're running, trying to be elected to something.
Not
100
yet.
to Larry
I might.
for speaking
I did
about the
before.
Supreme Court. If you were going to declare, you could do it on our show. That would be.
I could do that, but I'm not gonna. I ran before. I'm wearing my merch. I ran for governor twice.
Yeah.
Wearing the merch.
100 to Larry for speaking about the Supreme Court. 100 to Ben for mentioning Palantir. 300 to the Supreme Court corporations being people. 300 to Ben for pushing that idea. 1,000 points to Carl just because. Oh, we lost Carl. We lost Carl. Oh, hit his head. Oh, we've got. What? Why does everything match?
Man,
Ty,
I got
you blend into the couch. The cat blends into you. 100 to Larry for stating the obvious. Here we go. Thanks for triggering Larry with court of judges.
Yep.
200 to Ben. Proper use of sarcasm about Supreme Court decisions. 100 to Carl. Congress should approve deploying troops. 100 to Larry for mentioning the Marines. 400 to Carl for talking less. Exactly what a politician should do. Minus 50 to Cy for not getting the National Guard are under governor control, not Congress. 50 to Ben and Larry for noting difference of National Guard. There we go. If by Whiskey mentioned 500 to the host. That was the show that Dan was on yesterday. Minus 500 to Ben for pushing Orange Man bad. Trump has cited law for every use of National Guard, and thus far his use has been beneficial, even if disliked.
I want to say some rude things about that.
Yeah, that was a lot of words for you to lose points. Minus 1,000 to Ben for the wrong answer on the National Guard. Minus 50 to Ben for misunderstanding illegality of BLM Antifa violence. 100 to me because all right, Larry's on all the platforms giving himself points. Yep. Now another 100. Yeah.
Yep.
1,000 to Carl for letting Larry talk endlessly.
Thank you.
Lots of points to Sharpe for good answers. 200 to Larry for fast talking.
Yep.
Nice try, Larry. I'm not counting yours. All right, Terry's on it. 100 to Larry for cracking me up. 100 to Larry for being a slick talking New Yorker.
True.
1,000 to Cy for being smart and handsome. Minus 100 to Cy for not knowing how Cameo works or Camo works. All right. 50 to Carl for matching his cat.
That is impressive. Right. Carl, that is impressive. I'm just saying that part's impressive. I'll give you that one.
I got through it here. So let's see.
I mean, most of your points are bogus, but that was a good one. There's a couple good ones you got.
All right. So let me jump in here and get the points. And here we go. Larry got nuked. Larry lost 31-15 getting nuked there. So you were in the lead.
So I
but
actually won.
Now
Oh, good.
Ben is in the lead
No, I
with
won.
22-10, 200 points in front of Scientific. Ben, you're in the lead. It's your first time on the show. What do you think so far?
I think that this is the greatest game show on earth.
No, I think I won already. I already won.
All right. Well,
I like it.
Off, they all start going off. It's ridiculous. The first nuke is usually the best.
No, the point is now the people who like me are going to nuke both of you. So now you all get nuked.
Nuke if
no,
you go.
you have to have been on the show to use a nuke.
Yeah.
So all nuked.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
So it's crony
that means
nuclearism.
already won.
Yeah.
I love it. I've already won the game.
After
Well,
your
Nice. Thank you for that. That was good. I'm glad I already won a game. That's nice.
Zach has a theory that you want to be in negative points. It's actually like a golf score. So, and Zach's usually wrong about everything. So that would be a strategy. So, all right. So that was the scores. All right, Larry, back to you. Sponsored by Zano, decentralizing currency and payments. Is central bank digital currency dangerous? CBDC.
Are we going to nuke the other guys now so we can restart? Is that how that works?
No, you
I don't know
got a
how that
question.
works.
You got a
Oh,
question.
I got to
like
answer the question.
questions. Yeah.
Oh, I got to answer the question. Are they dangerous?
CBDCs.
I want to go further than dangerous. And they're not just dangerous, they are almost the ultimate in control. Because once you control the money that deeply, you now control labor. And once you control labor that deeply, you push everyone almost into a form of indentured servitude or slavery that they almost can't escape. And that's the worst part, right? If you just say I control the dollar, you can always go to Canada or whatever. Once you start having CBDCs, it's everywhere. So it is more than dangerous, is what I would say.
All right. Side to you. Should banks be banned from freezing lawful accounts?
Should they be banned from freezing lawful accounts? Yeah, I mean, lawful is kind of a loose term because, if you're not affecting the life, liberty, or property of another person, it shouldn't be a crime. So, lawful in that term is a little floaty, but, they shouldn't be allowed to freeze your accounts if you're a, peaceful civilian.
Well, the problem with this is the wording, right? They decide what's lawful. So they just decide, oh, you're a terrorist because I said so. So now it's unlawful. So now they freeze it. The question has to be, can the government or should the government ever freeze an account, period? Right? And is there a time when they should be able to? In theory, excuse me, you could say yes if someone has violated someone's rights and you have to somehow, do restorative justice in some way, shape, or form. So in theory, you could say that if there was somehow restorative justice, but otherwise, of course, no. And lawful doesn't really matter in that case.
Well, like the Canadian trucker protesting that was going on the other year, they had all their bank accounts frozen. And the Canadian government said, well, they're not being lawful, so we can do this. You know? So that's a tough question. Don't want to be in issues for that.
That's why I don't like the lawful aspect. I think you have to either say, can they or can they not? Once you add lawful, they do what they want. So it's got to be, do they have a right ever? And I would say the only time if that I could see an argument is if you violated someone's rights and there's some form of restorativeness that you refuse to restore. Maybe at that point I could see a value in it. Otherwise, I can't see it.
Well, they used to call them terrorists. Now it's you're a traitor. Now it's you're all traitors.
Right. Yes.
This year.
I thought they called them bankers.
Well, that's what we call traitors.
That too.
Okay. And I was feeling floaty when I wrote that, so thanks for pointing that out. All right. Ben, to you. Do competing currencies improve financial stability?
Yes, because the market decides what is the most sustainable, what's worth the most to them. And more often than not, it's something that's backed by something physical. So, I mean, you do have like asset-backed digital currency, which is starting to become a thing. So a lot of people are saying that that's going to be more valuable than like cryptocurrency potentially. But I mean, no matter what, I think like a physical asset always trumps a digital asset. And the way our society's heading, everything's digital. Nobody really carries physical dollars anymore. And let's be real, paper is worth paper. It's just whatever imaginary number they put on top of it is what they say it's worth. Anytime you can have like a physical asset to back up what you've got, I think that like more of that in the market is going to be a good thing. For everybody, we can decide what works best as civilians without the government getting involved at all. So,
yeah, but I'm not sure that answers the question, though, does it?
Either.
In other words, the question that with currencies, most currencies being fiat right now, they all go down together. They all come up together. I'm not sure it has any real. I'm not sure if it has any effect on stability at all. To be forward with you, the way it is now, I think I think in theory, if we actually had non-fiat currencies that were backed with something, I think in theoretically that would be true. But I think in reality, it doesn't do it. Us having multiple currencies doesn't make anything better or worse. They're all fiat. If I got 3 fiat currencies or 400 fiat currencies, who gives a shit? Doesn't make anything more stable. I'm not sure. We went from the euro, we went away from the Deutschmarks and the francs to the euros, and so what? I don't think it matters. With
we can say that we don't have anything but like non-fiat, but we do. We have gold, we have ammo. We
Gold's
can use
not
ammo.
a currency. It's not a currency though. It's not a currency.
Actually, it
I
is.
wish it was.
We have gold backs. We use them as currency at Porkfest all the time.
Yes, like 7 people out of the whole fucking planet. Yes, but it's not a currency, my friend. It's not a currency, my friend. Please stop.
I made like $400 in gold backs this last Porkfest.
Stop. No,
what are the odds all
not a
7
currency.
of them are going to watch and take?
They're
points
watching
from
now
Larry
and they're going to be
on
mad
that?
at me now. I'm going to lose
All
points.
7 of them are going to be mad at
The
you.
guys who use gold backs. I have gold backs. You don't use those things except at Porkfest.
Well,
Using
what-
that Porkfest, that's it.
That's your fault.
Stop.
They're usable at businesses. You can go to an Ace Hardware and buy tools with them. They're
Not here in New York, you can't. There's not one person going to take that shit in New York. Not one person. Not one person. I dare you. Come to New York and use it. No goddamn way. Stop. You're fooling yourself.
The only crime that you are committing, Larry, is living in New York. Move to New Hampshire, sir.
I might come. One day. I might. I'm actually considering moving to Nashua. I actually am. I'm actually considering.
Really?
I'm considering. I am.
My
considering.
man.
Yeah.
We're breaking news here, so
Yeah, I'm considering.
All right.
I am.
Larry, to you. Do know your customer rules go too far?
They don't go too far. They are actually harmful. I want to be clear. Know your customer rules do not help KYC. They do not help. They only harm. What I mean by that, the concept behind know your customer rules are we have know your customer rules. And what that means is now if I know my customer, I can stop the terrorists and the bad guys. That's the thought process. UBS was caught after KYC laws in laundering money for cartels. They made so much money, they paid the fines. And then after they got caught, they did it again. I'm not making that up. You can Google search it right now. UBS was caught twice. They made so much money laundering money for cartels with KYC laws. They don't help. They only harm. Now it's harder for me and you to get a regular bank account. It's hard for me and you to get a loan. It's hard for me and you to get a mortgage. We suffer now because the bad guys either just have so much money the banks don't care or they use something else. KYC laws not only don't go too far, they don't do what they want to do, and they hurt.
All right. Side to you. Should people be free to make anonymous payments?
Like to politicians, maybe not, but everything else seems all right. I mean, you should have full transparency if you're making a payment to a political campaign, but other than that, yeah, you should have anonymous payments.
We had that forever. It was called cash. We had that forever. We just gave someone cash. That's literally an anonymous payment. That was the norm, right? So, but I agree with you though, Carl, when it comes to if your money's going into the public sector, meaning it's going into politics publicly, if you're choosing to do that, you're affecting everyone with that in theory, it should be 100% transparent. I completely agree. But if it's not that, we've already had it for hundreds of years. It was called cash, and nobody was unhappy. It was fine.
All right. Ben, to you. Do we need stronger financial privacy laws to protect us against government abuse?
No law is going to help you in that. Really, all we need is more decentralization of finances. So, being, less reliant on the government currency, government systems, creating alternative currencies and alternative systems to facilitate currency trade and all that, such as Zano. That's pretty much where I'm at with that.
All right. Larry, back to you. Category is state sovereignty. Should states decide their own voting laws?
If it is a state election, yes. If it's not a state election, no. The federal government exists, whether you like it or not. It does exist. So for federal elections, the federal government should decide the voting rules. But yes, locally, I don't think there's a problem at all. If you want to decide how you want to decide, what's wrong with that? The Constitution is pretty open with that idea, and I think it's fine. But for federal elections, no, the federal government should decide.
All right. Side to you. Do states innovate better when left alone?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, every time you do a one size fits all, we kind of ruin the aspects of each state. And when we do one size fits all, it's harder to sit there and point a finger at your state representatives because they can just cop out. It's like, well, that's not in my control. I have no idea. That's just the federal government. I can have complete deniability and just say, that's not my fault. It would be a lot easier to get political change passed if you could hold your state legislatures accountable for their actions, as opposed to the federal government, which is, pretty much impossible at this point.
One of the biggest problems we have here is federal dollars. Federal dollars come into the states, and then that handcuffs the states from being innovative. So even if the states are theoretically innovative, they're still handcuffed. Because if you said, no, states do whatever they want, go ahead. But if I have federal guidelines and say, no, it's not against the law to do so. But if you don't do what I say, I won't give you money. We found out when Trump froze all the cash for that, 30 days, whatever it was earlier this year, about 30% of all state budgets is federal money. So the second that the federal money got dried up, all of a sudden everything fell apart. So in theory, that's true. In practice, federal dollars cuts it anyway.
All right. Ben, to you. Should states be free to nullify federal laws?
This is my bread and butter right here. I ran for sheriff in 2022 because constitutionally in New Hampshire, they have the authority to nullify any law that they deem unconstitutional. I believe states have the right to do that. We actually, in New Hampshire, just did that with gun laws, where the government can say, here in New Hampshire, we can say, if, let's say, they pass a national firearms ban, we can say, we're not enforcing that. And our entire police force in the entire state will not enforce that. We can tell the feds to kick rocks if we want. On a more localized, decentralized level, the county sheriffs have that same exact authority. And I encourage more libertarians out there to look into running for your local county sheriff, see if they have the same constitutional authority in your state, because we need more libertarian voices in that place. So
I think to add on top of that here what Ben says. People don't recognize something. Sheriffs, you are so correct, Ben. I'm going to jump on top. This is so good. Sheriffs are the only law enforcement that are elected. So that means they're not responsible to a mayor or a governor who will fire them if they don't do the right thing. If they don't do they don't do what they tell them to do. You can actually do the right thing if you're a sheriff because you're beholden to the people. But the caveat, again, Ben was exactly right. I think you should be able to nullify. However, it must be on a constitutional basis, not I don't like it basis. So yes, I'm doing a yes and with Ben.
And on that note, I may have an announcement coming up within the next couple of months. That's all I can say.
I know a guy if you want to announce it on a game show. So, all right. Larry, to you. It seems like it's always Larry's question, or at least Larry.
It
thinks
is always
it's
my question.
Larry's question.
It is.
Yeah,
It's always my question.
All right.
I got to
New
come
category.
back from getting nuked. You guys made some shitty answer that I get nuked for some reason. And now I got to come and you're mad at me. I got to keep talking so I can get back 3,000 points you fucker stole from me. But yeah. What do you expect? You nuked Central Park and you're my own city and you're like happy? So now you got to hear me yap more. That's your punishment for that shit. Keep going.
I think it's an improvement on Central Park. I think
Central Park's a beautiful park, by the way. Have you been there?
No, I haven't.
It's a beautiful park. And if anybody comes to New York, I'm going to give you a little tip what you should do. If you guys come to New York City, I'm not joking. It's not a great place to live. It's a wonderful place to visit. And one of the best things you can do is do a walking tour of Wall Street. A walking tour of Wall Street is a wonderful tour. New York City is one of the oldest cities in the continent. And when you go there, and you do a walking tour, you'll see all the history. It'll be some guy who loves history. He'll tell you all the stories about everything. There's famous people buried here in New York State. There's a lot of cool stuff about this. New York City is wonderful. You should do a walking tour of Wall Street. And by the way, Central Park is beautiful.
Well, are there any? Will we find any dead bears in Central Park while we're there?
Yes.
Okay.
Bobby Kennedy Jr. will go out of his way to ensure you find at least one every time you go to Central Park.
Maybe a whale on a minivan.
No. Only bears in Central Park.
And just a scoring update, -100 to Cy for making Larry think that you asked him a question about Central Park there. So you lost points for that.
That's your fault, Si.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, you did. You brought that on us. All right. So I don't even think we actually got to the question. So
we did not.
The question. All right. Again, always Larry's turn. Civil liberties and the law is the category. Is political dissent under attack?
It's so bad. The reason why it's under attack, it's so bad, is because now we are at a point of self-censoring. That's the worst part. It's bad when other people say, hey, Ben, stop talking. Stop. That's bad. But it's worse when Ben says, oh, I better not say it. And we've gone to that level. So not only is it under attack, socially, we are starting to self-censor. That makes it even worse.
All right. No rebut from you because you answered the question. So we can move on
So you
here.
can keep going now.
Yeah.
I'll answer the next one too.
Thank you. All right. Side to you. Should all laws have an expiration date?
I mean, I think the laws protecting people's property, life, and liberty, obviously, those should be pretty well enforced. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of laws that we have to, revamp. Like Rhode Island's a good example. In like the 1980s, they got rid of this massive amount of like sex laws that had to do with, that were preventing people from doing that in their own home. It wasn't until about 2001 or 2002 they found out, oh my gosh, this made indoor prostitution legal. And it wasn't until like 2009 that they finally said, okay, well now it's illegal again. But in that time frame, like, rapes dropped 31%, gonorrhea dropped 35%, all, compared to all the other states. It was ridiculous. So revamping, all the laws that don't have to do with life, liberty, or property, I mean, that does have a good ring to it. It's just, when they revamp them, it's not usually for the best.
I think that they should all have expiration dates. All of them, 6 years. They should have 6 years. It's called sunset laws, right? So they should have 6 year sunset. All laws, no matter what, even the ones at property, because Carl, what they'll do is they'll say this one's property or this one's something when it's not. They'll title it the thing you want so it never gets done. So all of them must, no matter what. And what I always get, I've been talking about this literally for years. When I ran in 2018, I mentioned it. All laws, 6 year sunset. People go, well, what about murder? Because they're always stupid and say stupid shit like that. And someone in the chat probably already said that stupid shit already. So that's what happens all the time. Okay, let's say, for example, they forget to renew murder. Okay, say they do. I don't know why they would, but say they do. There's still like other laws that would still put you away. And the second one guy says, oh my God, we can't charge him with murder, they'll just redo murder. So it'll be one day where one guy doesn't get murder. He gets like manslaughter or something, whatever. It's fine. The world's not going to end. Plus, if you're so bad you can't redo murder, you probably shouldn't be an assemblyman. So it's totally fine. What it would do is, if you have to keep redoing all these laws, you have to add one more piece, and that is it must be single issue laws also. You can't just do all of them redo. Each one single issue. It'll keep all these assemblies busy for the next 10 years, not giving us stupid laws, but just deciding which laws they should keep on the books. That would be amazing. It would be an immediate pruning of our laws across the entire country.
Well, the night before is purge night, right?
Let's give it a shot.
Well, in that case, we should definitely abolish the police because they can't even keep track of the laws right now.
True. You're right.
So.
No idea.
You're right.
Yeah. All right. Ben, to you. Should whistleblowers be fully protected?
I mean, yeah, like, here's the thing. When you say protected, my mind goes to the Second Amendment and private militias. It does not go to government protection. But if somebody's whistleblowing the government, like Edward Snowden, for instance, I think that he did not do anything wrong by, telling people, what the government was doing. I think Edward Snowden definitely should be pardoned. Wait, wasn't Snowden? No, Snowden hasn't been pardoned yet. It was, who was it? Who am I thinking of right now?
Ross.
I'm gonna lose points. No, I know Ross was. The guy who was like in Australia, Assange. Yeah, like, come on. Why did I forget his name? I'm gonna lose points off of that for sure. But
nobody noticed. You're good.
But Snowden, he should be pardoned, and then he should have protections as well, so that he doesn't get murdered. He should have his full Second Amendment rights restored so that he can buy and protect himself as well. So,
absolutely. All right, Larry, to you. Criminal justice reform is the category. Should sentencing be left to the states?
That's an odd question. It is right. State laws, the state sentences, federal laws, the Fed sentence. I mean, it is. That's how it works. The difference is what we don't want is it should actually be left to the judges. Most judges are actually terrible, and they use what's called the rubric. They look at a rubric and they go, okay, because you did X, then you get Y, plus you add this, so I can add this on and add this on. Judges right now are so bad, they might as well just have algorithms. We would save a whole lot of money on robes. We would just have algorithms go through their rubrics. We don't do that. I mean, that's what we do. We should not do that. So judges should actually have to judge and make decisions based upon that. Mandatory minimums are unconstitutional, should not exist, are horrible and stupid. A judge should have to look at someone in the eye, recognize what's going on, and make a decision. That's why they're judges. If they can't handle that, then don't be a judge. Rubrics are unconstitutional, and mandatory minimums are unconstitutional. States already decide sentencing. That's how it works, and feds decide federal, as it should be.
All right. Minus 100 to me for the terrible question. Side to you. Should drug laws be set by states?
I mean, they kind of already are, but the federal government really dips its ink pen into that, which is not really great. I mean, the state should be able to decide, like, if you want a safe usage site or something like that. Like, literally 0 people have ever died safe usage site for things like opioids or different things like that. And yet, during the pandemic, I think it was like 100,000 people died. So states should definitely have the flexibility to make up their own laws. But, that's kind of separate from what the law should actually be, which is, you should be able to voluntarily help out your fellow man. And that includes if they have a problem with drug abuse.
The problem I have is, why do we even have drug laws in the first place? What I mean by that is, look, I should be punished or I should be dealt with by the actions that I take, not by the substances I have in my pocket, nor by the substances that I decide to sell or people buy voluntarily. If people buy my substance voluntarily or I buy it voluntarily, why does it matter? If I have something in my pocket, why does it matter? If I do something like I rob someone to get my drug or harm someone to get my drug, then it's not a drug law. It's a harm law, which makes sense. The idea that we even have drug laws is silly. We should have laws not for possession or selling. We should have laws for actions that harm others.
I was going to give you 100 points there too, Larry, for doing the snorting sound effect during the drug question. So that was, thank you for that.
I'm actually sick and I've been muting myself, but then someone was a wise ass and made me lose 100 points for fucking muting myself. So now you got to hear my snot. You like that? Give me minus 100 points for that one.
All right. Ben, to you. Should rehabilitation be prioritized over punishment?
100%. Absolutely. But not at the expense of the taxpayer. So we need to find a way to almost make this like kind of like a charity type of situation or a mutual aid type of situation. I love the idea of doing this through mutual aid. But I feel like, people going to jail or to prison for nonviolent crimes is crazy. And you have people that are still going to, prison for weed for, 10 plus years in some states. And that's just insane. Half the states, like you can walk down the street with them in front of a cop and they'll just wish you a nice day. So, I think that I'm with Larry. Drug laws, what's the point? They just cause more violence onto the citizens. And I do think that rehab is the best choice over punishment all day. I don't think that jail is a very good form of rehabilitation whatsoever. So
I would add an extra part to that. And I think we have to also add restoration. We have to add that, right? We should be worried about restoration, rehabilitation, and then whatever punishment is required. They're all valid, but we should also try restoration. Where if some guy comes in and robs me, and Ben robs me, and then after he robs me, he takes $1,000 of equipment out of me wherever I got, right? He takes it and goes off and sells it so he can go get drunk. Good for him, I guess. He'll have a good time. But I can't get my money back, right? I don't get my money back, so I lost $1,000. If I'm lucky enough and I have insurance, then maybe I get some money back, and then my insurance rates go up. If I don't have that, I still got to buy the $1,000 worth of stuff. I don't get that back. Plus, now I got to pay for you in jail. I got to pay for you to come out. I'm paying for everything. So there's no restoration. So he should be able to get a job so he can pay me back. Now, I'm not necessarily upset if the taxpayer pays it, assuming that the restorativeness also comes back to the taxpayer, if that makes any sense. So if the person, if we pay as taxpayers for the job training or whatever the thing is, whatever that thing is, and that money then comes back to eventually over time that system can actually pay for itself, I'd be okay with that.
All right. Larry, to you, new category, right to bear arms. And shout out again, Free Dexter Taylor. And the question is, do red flag laws violate the Second Amendment and due process?
They violate, yes, both. And the problem with red flag laws is they encourage people to harm. What I mean by that. All right. My kid now is in school, and my kid draws a cop that he thinks is in a cool show, and the cop's got a gun and he draws it. So the teacher looks and goes, wait a minute, you draw a guy with a gun? He's like, yeah, I like a cop show, whatever. Great. The teachers think to themselves, do I report him or not? Do I say anything or not? If no, and the kid does something, teacher pays a price. If yes, and kid's innocent, teacher pays no price. Teacher needs to report. That's what happens. Teacher reports. Not just that in New York State where we have these red flag laws. This actually happened. A guy's in a car accident. He's in the ambulance. And the guy says, how do you feel? He says, oh, I feel so bad. I just want to die. Guy puts suicidal. I'm not joking. Takes his guns. Why? If he doesn't put suicidal and he kills himself, he's in trouble. Red flag laws encourage bureaucrats to do bad things. So not only are they against Second Amendment, not only are they anti-due process, they encourage the system to harm. They're nothing but bad.
Well, and I could add on to that one. It's kind of ridiculous because we stigmatize mental health so much in this country. And if you are somebody who is prone to do a shooting or something like that, you're probably extremely paranoid, right? So not only does the red flag law put this little barrier between you getting help for your mental problem, because you don't want your guns taken away. You're already paranoid. You're already, in a violent state. So you don't want to put a barrier in front of people to find help for their mental health issues. Because now, not only do they have an untreated mental health issue, but they also still have the gun because they're not gonna tell anybody about it at that point. They're gonna have both. They're gonna have an untreated mental health issue and a gun.
Yeah, and it hurts veterans more than anything. It puts veterans in the black market. Veterans go into the black market because they don't want to lose their firearms. They need help. They have invisible diseases, PTSD, TBI, those types of things. And so they go into the black market because they don't want to go be official because they can't get help. They lose their guns if they get help. So yeah, 100% true. Someone in the chat said -200 for certain drugs should be regulated. Regulation is fraud. That's an actual action. Meaning if I tell you I'm giving you a drug that is X and it's Y, that's fraud. That is a crime, and it should be a crime.
All right. Side of you, should 3D printed guns be fully legal?
How are they going to enforce that? It doesn't make any sense. 3D printed guns, yeah, you Second Amendment, you have the right to create your own guns. But then at another point, it's like you can get a box about yay big with a little milling device and take a chunk of aluminum and turn it into a gun. How do you enforce that without spending, massive amounts of taxpayers' dollars just to try and get that through? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, milling machines, do you need a permit for that drill bit? Like, it doesn't make any sense. The enforcement, it's not just important to look at a law and say, is this a good law? It's also good to look at a law and say, is this even doable? Can we actually even enforce this on a good, in any capacity? And also free Dexter Taylor.
Yeah, well, Dexter Taylor would tell you that you can enforce it, and it's called snitching. People will just snitch on you. That's what will happen. You will make the 3D printed gun. Someone will go, I'm scared. And then they'll call on you, and the cops will kick your door in, as they did with Dexter Taylor. You will have created no victims, and they will make you a felon. If you live in New York State, you go to jail for 10 years. So that's how they enforce it, through snitching. The only way I could see you making any type of rule on this would be, maybe, this is to the earlier point from Michael brought up, is maybe something like, would you make a rule if you sell it? It has to be somehow regulated that makes sure that it's safe for something if you sell the gun. Maybe that, I could see that. Maybe you'd have to register it to be sold or something, maybe. But otherwise, I can't see any laws at all.
Ben, to you. Do ghost gun bans violate the right to make your own firearm?
They absolutely do. I can tell you. This was an issue. They actually just banned 80% lowers recently. I don't remember if that was overturned or not. But I used to buy those all the time, and stocked up on them because until you drill that hole, they're basically just paperweights. But I believe that every American citizen should own a firearm, and they should have access to them no matter what. You shouldn't have to register it. You shouldn't have to get a permit to own a gun. You shouldn't have to clear some national firearm registry to own a gun, or to even buy ammo like California requires. And I think that ghost gun bans are very unconstitutional. And also, this would not be, are you monetized by chance, Free?
I got demonetized yet again.
Okay. Well, I hope this doesn't affect your chances, but it would not be a Second Amendment right to bear arms segment if I didn't show off this sexy piece right here. Ruger Mark IV competition shooting 22 there. But look at that thing. It's like a gold barrel and stuff, man. Gold trigger. It's sick. So anyways, had to show that off. Sorry.
So no, I want to bring this up. In New York, we made illegal ghost guns illegaler. I'm not even joking. We just make stuff illegal. That's one of the things we do. We have the most gun laws. We still have gun violence. We just had it. You just saw it happen in New York State. We just keep making it. We just make stuff illegaler. It is sad what we've done with ghost guns. And the problem is people are afraid. The reason why the ghost gun thing is a thing is because it sounds scary. And people who don't know are afraid. It's an amazing marketing piece that makes everyone think that everyone's doing ghost guns. But anyway, New York is the worst when it comes to ghost guns.
And I'm very sorry, Ben, that lost all those in that boating accident. That was horrible. The seas were rough that day. Just a tragedy, man.
Yeah, it was a rough one. That's why I just keep paperweights around instead. So.
All fine. that ain't real. That's that's for paper.
All right, Larry, back to you. Should gun taxes be banned as a form of infringement?
If they are specifically on guns, yes. But if they're generic taxes, again, I'm not for taxes, but I'm just saying for fairness. If you're just saying if you sell something, you pay X%, then guns will be included in that. But if you make it specifically on guns, yes. So a specific gun tax would be an infringement, but just the generalized tax, which again, I don't like any of them, but just for infringement purposes, it would not be.
Okay. Side to you. Do concealed carry permits violate the right to bear arms?
I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, I live in Iowa where it's constitutional carry. The permits, they don't really do anything. I mean, a lot of mass shootings happen on legally owned guns. So it's like, at what point do you sit there and say there's a correlation between, this certificate and, I definitely think people should safely operate firearms. They should definitely, figure out exactly what they should do with a firearm, how they should treat a firearm, how they should store them. I think you should be responsible with a gun, but that doesn't mean that the government has, this extra safety just because it gives you a permit. A lot of those shootings happen with a fully legally acquired gun.
These the concealed carry pieces are just in general just bad in general. I think the only reason why the government should ever stop you from owning a firearm or having one on your person in any way, shape, or form is if you show them some actual reason, like you're on Facebook saying, "Hey, my ex, I'm gonna come get you now." Okay, I got it, right? Something like that. Okay, get law enforcement involved. But unless it's something like that, why are they even doing it at all? We've shown already that when you decide to just let people bear their own arms in any way they see it. By the way, arms is not only firearms, right? Just to be clear, in New York, we finally allowed you to have nunchucks. So if you want to defend yourself with nunchucks in New York, you actually can now. See? Look, I know you were waiting, Carl. You're like, I'm not coming to New York until I can bring my nunchucks. Well, now you can. So, and when you defend yourself with nunchucks against guys with guns, please film it. It will be amazing. But
shout out.
Yes, go ahead.
Shout out to New Hampshire for constitutional carry. You can open or conceal carry anytime you want. There's no permits. A cop asks you, do you have a permit for that? You just say, I do what I want. So,
and the best part about New Hampshire is you also have the lowest crime rate of all 50 states.
There you go.
Yes. And Ohio, who just
and tax burden. Thing. Oh, and what are we ranked on the free state? Aren't we like the first free state for like 10 years in a row on Cato?
We're the 50th for 6 years running, New York State. So take that, California. We're number one. Take that.
That's some stiff competition you got there.
It is. Yes.
The Ninja Turtles are finally legal in New York.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I just saw something heartbreaking. Jamie just said -500 for not defaulting to all taxation. I love Jamie, and she just broke my heart with that. Jamie, you broke my heart.
This is my open carry right here. Full thing master sword.
Nice.
There we go. All right, back to it. Ben, to you. Should civilians be allowed to own weapons the government owns?
Yes, I think that recreational nukes are on the table. And I believe that there should be gun vending machines in middle schools and high schools.
But I tell people this, that you will find people all the time in New York go, you can't do that. What are you going to give them battleships? And I say, Americans used to own battleships. That was a thing.
Literally, right? They were all private owned.
They used to own battleships, yes. And when we'd go to war, they'd give them a letter of marque and say, hey, go fire on the French or something. Or go fire on the whatever, the Turks. Go blow them up, right? Literally, people own battleships. So not only should we used to. I want to be very clear. Gun control, this whole idea came from one thing. And some of you won't like it, but I don't care. It came from freed slaves. When Maj Touré says gun control's racist, it is. Prior to the 1860s, there was no gun control. But then people in the South said, wait a minute. If these freed slaves, we screwed them over and we don't give them stuff and they have guns, they might shoot us. And they went, you're right. And all of a sudden we got gun control. Gun control comes from people being afraid of the wrong people, whoever those wrong people are. At that point, it was freed slaves, the wrong people from having guns. So no, it's we should and we used to.
That was like Reagan and the Black Panthers.
Black Panthers, exactly correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And people get mad at me when I talk about gun control. They always go, Larry, you have to talk about, the Second Amendment and the Constitution. I live in New York. The Bill of Rights is the Bill of Suggestions. They don't care about the Bill of Rights here. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. But when I say it's racist, Maj knows. Maj talks about it in the cities. So do I. When you talk about gun control in the cities, you have to bring up that it's racist. That's when they hear you. They don't hear Constitution. They don't hear it. It goes right, bounce off their head.
All right. We are back to enter the scores. So put your scores in the chat. And just one more time, free Dexter Taylor, givesendgo.com, dtaylor_2A_legal. Let's get Dexter out of jail. He did no harm to anyone. And the chat is just absolutely chaos at this point. Let's see. Larry got 500 for being a political genius. You got points for speaking about federal money. 100 to Ben for nullification. It's a secret weapon.
That's good.
Points to Larry when he said, I'll answer the next one too. 1,000 to Cy for not going to New York City. Minus 100 to Cy for dissing Central Park. Minus 100, for not going to Central Park.
See that?
Points to Ben for running local libertarians. Larry said, you fuckers, got points for that. Points to Larry for pointing out how nuking is theft.
True.
Points to Ben since Larry agrees with him. Points to Cy and Larry for leading into sunset laws. Minus 100 to Cy for invoking an STD. 1,000 to, he's been saying abolish communists. I mean, police. 100 to Ben, Snowden did nothing wrong. Minus 100 for forgetting about Assange. To Ben for getting Larry to agree with him 2 times in a row. Yeah, that's kind of
too bad, Ben. That's pretty good, Ben. Pretty good.
Yeah, Assange wasn't pardoned. Points to Ben, pardon Snowden. Points to Larry for talking about judges and not cussing. Points to Ben for thinking he's going to lose points for not remembering something live on the air. Free does that every show. That's my thing, though. I mean, it's like trademarked. 100 for being super spicy about the snotty nose. Got points or lost points for the snot. 100 to Larry for calling out the chat. 100 to Larry for no new drug laws. 100 to Larry red flag laws are abhorrent. 200 to Carl for pulling a Larry on Larry. 100 to Cy for expanding the issue with red flag laws. Minus 200 to Cy for pulling a Larry on Larry at half speed.
Yep.
100 to Cy for adding on to Larry's answer. 500 to Carl for mentioning mental health issues. My wife is a mental health clinician and a vet.
Nice.
500 to Chuck for calling out stigmatized mental health. Everybody counts or nobody counts. Harry Bosch rules. Jamie's here. Minus 300. Oh, minus 500. 300 to me for allowing a debate. Well, I'm no longer glad that Jamie's here, but 100 to Larry for having Dexter.
I'm very happy to see Jamie. She's the most beautiful libertarian in Michigan.
There you
100%.
go. For having Dexter on his Sharpe Way show. 100 to Ben for getting another question right. No such thing as ghost guns, nor is it the business of the government to make your own. 100 to Ben for gun laws or infringements. 500 to Ben for flashing that sexy thing.
That was impressive.
Yeah. 1,000 to Ben for the 2A swag. Boo, minus 100 to Larry for gun taxes.
I didn't do gun taxes. What's wrong with you? That's bogus.
Points to Carl for the boating accident comment. I lost my battleship in a boating accident too, if the government's listening. Nuking. Oh, yeah. Nuking Cy for not showing his piece. What kind of American are you?
You got nuked too. Take that. Take that nuke. Take it.
So let's see here. Can I do
Take
this?
that nuke.
And I've got one more here. There we go. Let's see what happens here. Yep. They all run off. Yep. No, nobody turned into an elephant this time, so that was a little safer.
All right.
That's good.
And yeah, minus 100 to both Ben and Cy since Larry got nuked because you guys are scared of some competition. Ooh,
Take that, baby. Take that.
Points to Carl for living in Iowa. Points to Ben. I do what I want.
Nice.
Points
nice.
to Cy for the sword. Points to Cy for having the master sword.
It's cool.
100 to
sword.
Larry for bringing up Maj. Maj is awesome.
Yeah.
Did I forget to give 500 to Ben because his last name is Weir? Plus 500 to Ben.
Okay.
100 to Larry for talking about Maj and Black Guns Matter. Minus 500 to Larry just because. So, all right, that was a lot.
Yeah, but hold on. Right underneath that's plus 500 just because. Don't miss that one, too. Don't miss my 500 points.
Didn't I say that? I thought I said
Right after is plus 500. Right after plus 500.
It goes,
Thank you. Thank you.
I got it. I got it.
He zeroed me out. He zeroed me out. That's zeroed out.
All right.
It's fine.
Let me go to the actual points here and see what kind of chaos is going on there. We've got Ben in the lead with 52-85. Larry's come back with 50-50. And Carl, yeah, it went bad for Carl there for not flashing a gun.
the
So,
vague goes away. Yeah.
yeah, you lost a lot of points there. So yeah, that was a mess for you. So, all right. Can we do one more category, guys? Do you got time?
Fine.
No, you seem
Good.
very excited, Larry. So I'm going to do it just because you seemed excited. All right. Last category. It's called Pick One. So you're going to pick one from these lists. So
Okay.
Larry, to you. Best criteria for deploying the National Guard. Natural disaster only, voter approved emergencies, governor request, local threat assessment, or public safety risk threshold.
I don't want to do only, so I'm going to scratch the first one. I got to look at them now. I think the best way of doing it is going to be governor request. And I say that because the governor should be in control of the National Guard, period. So the governor should be deciding when they go, period. You can't really do voter because you don't know when that's going to happen, and let the governor be responsible. If the governor screws up, the government pays for it. The governor pays for it, hopefully electorally, or if the governor does something unethical, hopefully they can be impeached or removed, we would hope. But I'm going to go with governor.
Okay. Side to you. Most transparent corporate government relationship. Lobbying disclosure, public meeting requirement, ban on closed door deals, open contract bidding, or citizen oversight panels.
I'm going to go with ban on closed door deals. And it's really just kind of they screw us over so much on closed door. I definitely think everything should be public. You should definitely know, no like ghost ballots where you have no idea who voted for what. You should definitely be able to hold your legislatures accountable for what they vote on. Closed door deals, I mean, kind of close without the closed door deals. Lobbying would be kind of more transparent for sure. I guess I'll pick that one.
All right.
Gotta go with lobbying. I think lobbying is more important here. Lobbying is more important. The how people, because they can do deals you can't really tell, and sometimes a closed door deal may be required for a certain specific issue or something. But if the lobbying is a 100%, which it is not now, if it was 100% absolutely transparent, you would even know what the deal is probably coming up anyway. So I would rather go with the lobbying on this one.
All right.
I mean, if you do lobby disclosures with closed door deals,
Well, you only have to pick one, right?
Yeah.
And lobbying influences.
that's like a chicken or an egg thing.
Yes,
APAC.
you're right. Yes, and APAC, perfect example. I'd rather it be open. I would rather the lobbying be open than if I only have to pick one. This is the goal. I can pick one. I'm picking lobbying, and Ben's with me on this one.
All right, Ben, to you. Best way to reclaim state power from federal agencies. Nullification laws, state-run agencies.
You can just stop right there. It's nullification laws, period.
100%. 100%.
It is
I wrote
nullification
the whole
laws.
question though.
No
Can
need.
you let me
It's
just do the
okay.
whole? All right.
You can read the whole rest of it. The answer is nullification laws.
I'll do it on my own time. I'll
Yeah,
get my own
it's-
show and
he's
I'll,
right.
I'll read
Nullification
my
laws, he's
questions to
told-
myself.
100% correct.
I'm telling you
100%
what,
correct.
even if it doesn't get through, if you don't have a constitutional sheriff that's just nullifying all the unconstitutional laws, the legislature can nullify laws. Like I said, we just did that here with gun laws. Essentially, the governor can do it. They can choose to not recognize federal COVID restrictions. And even on a more local level, you can do it if you get summoned to jury duty. Juror nullification is like one of the most important things I think that libertarians can be a part of if there's a victimless crime involved. So nullification all the way. That's the answer every single time. So
I have to add on to this why this works so well. Because nullification also affects DAs. And because what DAs care about is conviction rate. That's all they care about. They don't care about what's right and what's just. That means nothing to them. What matters is the conviction rate. So if their laws start getting nullified, they'll stop prosecuting those laws. They will just stop on their own. Not just that. When that happens, people often get mad at cops. Oh, cops doing X, cops doing Y. I get it. But cops are far more worried about what the DA is going to prosecute than what some mayor is telling them what to do, or even what the police chief is going to do. So if the DA stops prosecuting, the cops stop arresting. So I'm doing again, Ben, yes, and.
I'm gonna tariff that. I'm gonna take his hard-earned answer there. That was
All right, so you get Ben's points on that. All right, back to you, Larry. Most effective way to improve failing schools: parental choice, charter school expansion, online learning, decentralized curriculum control, or teacher merit pay.
Those are very vague. So if I think I'm torn between two: parental choice and online learning. And the reason why I'm torn between those two is if parental choice means I'm still only choosing between government schools, then parental choice isn't the answer. If online schools means only government funded online schools, again, not going to work. So I'm going to make an assumption that parental choice means I don't have to only go to government schools, that I could actually go to an online school, that I could go to a private school, that I could homeschool. If we're assuming that parental choice means I can choose non-government schools, which sadly in New York State often doesn't mean that, then yes.
All right. Side to you. Best long-term alternative to printing money: gold-backed currency, cryptocurrency, commodity-backed notes, balanced budget requirement, state-issued currency.
oh gee, I mean, that's kind of a tough one. I'm thinking balanced budget requirements at the moment. Commodity backed notes is really good though. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with balanced budget. We haven't had, Argentina balance their budget and they are doing fantastic. Javier Milei, it was like 125 years without I guess in effect a balanced budget. I'm going to go with balanced budget because once you stop spending more than you're taking in, I think it's going to be, eliminating a lot of the printing that we have. I mean, this is just out of control at this point.
I think that's a short term, man. I agree with you short term, but I think long term, you got to go some kind of commodity back. I'm not sure what that commodity is. I think you have to in the long run. To be forward, that sucks up front because getting us to change the Fed and make the shift and get to some kind of commodity is going to be painful. There's going to be some shifts and adjustments in making that happen. There's going to be some transition period. It's going to suck for a while. But the question is long term. Long term, I think it's got to be the money's got to be backed by something. Whether that's cryptocurrency, whether that's gold, it's got to be backed by some kind of commodity. I think that is the only long-term answer. I think balanced budget is short-term answer, but long-term has got to be backed by something. Wow. Even though there's more problems in getting it started, right? It's easier short-term to balance the budget. That's true. but I think long term you have to have commodity backed.
I mean, it's if you're looking at like gold-backed currency, right? Well, the thing that screws up gold-backed currency is asteroid mining. There are massive amounts of asteroids in the belt that you can actually mine that would actually drop the price of whatever commodity you're using. And there's plenty of factors. I can't think of a commodity that would be so rare that you could back a currency with it. Like if you're, and in space, it's like negative 270. Well, it's slightly above 273 Celsius. So it's like you can just point a 10-degree laser at these things, burst them open, throw them in a bag, and send them to Earth. So it's like eventually that is going to be a thing that may be the downfall of certain.
But the question was commodity, right? So it doesn't have to be gold. But say it is gold. Say we decide it's gold. I get you. But if we're going to now go off to the asteroids, right, and then go ahead and blow up and get the gold, fine. But that's years away. And by the time we figure this out, people will know, oh, wait a minute, that commodity's not going to work anymore, or we'll change what the value of the commodity is. And we'll do something more important. We'll have stopped the normalization of fiat currency. So even if you're right, and one day, 10, 20, 30 years from now, we can get gold off asteroids, assuming that's true, so what? Then we would still have stopped ourselves from creating fiat currency. The Fed won't be printing money. I don't care what we back it on as long as it's not just printing money. And that's why I think it's still a good long-term answer, even if you're right.
All right, Ben, to you. Best way to avoid another 2008 style crisis: end too big to fail, break up large banks, ban risky derivatives, require higher reserves, or market-led restructuring?
Has to be market-led restructuring. I'm against bans in all situations. But that is one thing, like, there's a lot of predatory lending back in 2008. And I think that a more open market that wasn't like structured in that way would have been a lot better for the economy during that time. So I think to prevent another one, the answer is always the free market every single time. There's really no government solution to that issue other than free market. That's how you fix it.
The problem that we have with that right now is that the stock market isn't actually the free market, right? So when we're selling derivatives, we're not actually selling on a free market. It is a government-backed casino. And if we're going to use a government-backed casino, okay, let's make it the free market, to your point. But then what runs the free market casinos? Well, it's basically a gaming commission. So we need to create a private market gaming commission. And you do that, that will stop too big to fail, because that means you would have to be transparent. The gaming commission would actually go to jail, or if they were corrupt. The gaming commission would actually be able to fix things and be responsible. And the gaming commission would not want it to go out of business because they go out of business. So yes to Ben, but you've got to go through, you have to make it utterly private, like a gaming commission.
Okay. Larry, back to you. And this is the one that's going to cause some fireworks, I think.
Let's do it.
Best way to hold judges accountable.
You just yes, you want to trigger me. Yes.
Term limits, retention elections, performance reviews, public case audits, or impeachment for bias.
None of these are the actual answer, but I have to pick one.
No, you can, Larry, it's you haven't been following the rules up to this point. Do whatever the hell
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yes, the actual answer here is, right now, judges are accountable to no one except the party infrastructure. The reason why judges are so biased at the lowest levels and when they're so bad at the lowest levels is they're only concerned about whether they either get selected, which is by party, or elected, almost always running on their own unopposed, which is by party. So now if you go to a judge and you say, hey, is this correct or not? The judge goes, what will my party think? The reason why you will often get better decisions at the higher levels is because judges at the higher levels either have already created their own political power where they're immune, or because they're not going to go anyplace anymore. So now they're set and they can actually be honest. And that's why you usually get better decisions at the Supreme Court, because they're not going anywhere else. Not always, obviously, but you usually do. That's the reason why they're better at the end. The earlier judges the younger judges are beholden only to the party system. So they have to be afraid to be removed, because right now what they actually are minor demigods. And of course, Dexter Taylor is the perfect example of this. That terrible, horrible judge literally said, the Bill of Rights does not exist in my courtroom. The fucking Bill of Rights doesn't exist in the courtroom. It was made for the courtroom. This judge literally took an oath to the Constitution, said that things in her courtroom, and her punishment was nothing. So just because I'm upset, impeach them. I actually want judges to be activist judges for the Constitution, not for their own political parties. That's the problem. They are activists for political parties, not for the Constitution. What they're supposed to do is, when the brain dead chimps in the assemblies make terrible laws, and then all of a sudden those laws now come to place, the judges go, well, it's the law. The judges say, I have to follow the law. No, judge, you don't have to follow the law. The executive branch has to follow the law. That's why it's the executive branch. The legislative branch makes the bad laws. You interpret them. So when the law comes and it's stupid, you go, no. The example I brought up more than once is, if the brain dead chimps in your state made a law that said, if some kid who's 16, 17 years old is convicted of graffiti, the sentence is mandatory minimum death. That's the sentence. And now you're a judge in your courtroom. He's convicted. He's 17 of graffiti. Would you convict that person and would you sentence them to death? The sad part is, at least half the judges in our country will go, yes, it's the law. How stupid are you? How broken are you? How inhuman are you? No, you are a judge. You judge. You go, no, that law is clearly violates the Bill of Rights. It is terrible punishment. So no, we're not. It was cruel and unusual. We're not doing it. No, I'm throwing it out. They don't do it. They don't do it, and they should. Our judges should be impeached because they suck, because they're an embarrassment, why do we have gerrymandering problems right now? Because judges said gerrymandering's fine. Gerrymandering is utterly unconstitutional. It's not even close to unconstitutional. It's utterly unconstitutional. It is when parties pick the voters and parties aren't in the Constitution. There's no parties in the Constitution. They are not part of the Constitution. So how can they run our government? How can we not have open primaries? We pay with our taxpayer dollars for primaries, so we have to vote them. Oh, we can't. They're parties. But the judges then say parties are private institutions. They are. You're right. Then why am I paying for their primaries? Utterly unconstitutional. Our judges have failed us so much in this country. They're an embarrassment. And the reason is they're accountable to nobody except the party apparatus. Impeach them for bias that is not constitutional. If they have constitutional bias, good, reward them. If they don't have constitutional bias, impeach them.
Got a weird.
That was better than I even hoped for right there.
So it was probably the second time I was voting. We kept driving by all these signs talking about impeaching all the judges over and over and over again. There were so many of these signs, and I got done voting, and then somebody was like, "Well, did you vote out all the judges?" And I go, "Well, no, I didn't even know what those signs were for." It's like, well, They're legislating from the bench, and that's wrong. And I thought, wow, that sounds bad. That's awful. And I was like, well, what did they legislate? And they were like, well, they declared gay marriage bans to be unconstitutional. And I thought, that's what all those signs were for. That's what everybody was throwing a fuss. And all the judges got voted out. And I thought that was the weirdest, that was when I started, really paying attention to politics, because if I see a sign in the yard now, I want to know what it's for.
Yeah. All right. Side of you. Best way to approve new energy projects: local permitting only, state level review boards, private landowner agreements, public referendum, or independent technical review.
I'm going to go with private landowner agreements. Just because, it's and a lot like the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, right? I want a new nuclear power plant in my backyard, definitely. It's kind of ridiculous, like the space requirements that you actually need for a nuclear power plant or something like that. And we're coming out with 4th gen nuclear reactors. You can set them on like 25 acres safely, perfectly safely. You can dig a hole, put all of them up there. They're passively safe. If you take all the people out of one of these nuclear plants, it'll slowly shut down. If you take all the people out of an old light water reactor, you might have some problems. But definitely land agreements for energy. I think, I'm a little bit biased. I definitely love nuclear energy. I think that is kind of an Achilles heel to the government. I think if they were going to invest in a nice little law where they dig their own graves, I think 4th gen nuclear is going to be the one. It's going to be great. And all these data centers need all this electricity. So it's kind of
the issue we have to worry about here is when it comes to permitting is there has to be somebody who's responsible for yes. And the problem is no one is. Everyone's responsible for no. This goes back to incentives. The incentives for anything new being built are always, if something goes wrong, I'm in trouble. Not if something gets built, I'm rewarded. The incentives are the opposite. Someone has to be responsible for yes. New York City did something decent once. It did do something decent once. And the thing it did decent once is, and it's just decent. It's not great. It's just decent. Everything New York City does is terrible. This one thing was decent. They made a rule that if your building permit is not denied with a reason within 45 days, with a reason, you are able to build. That was actually decent. Somebody was responsible for yes. Not bad. We still have a whole lot more of that.
All right. Last question of the night goes to Ben. Best way to increase government transparency without federal control. Local sunshine laws, state level Freedom of Information Acts, mandatory live streaming, open meeting rules, or citizen audit boards.
Well, I'm going to say I do like what Larry was saying about the local sunshine laws earlier, how they all have like a 6-year limit, but
that's a sunset law, not sunshine law.
You're right. I'm an idiot. Go back to the options real quick.
There we go.
It's going to be state level Freedom of Information Act because there's not enough transparency at the state level. And I do think that the more people knew about what the government was doing, the counties report to the state, all the county stuff gets, published as well, even on your local level. At least in New Hampshire, they do. So I think that would be really good to have just to, because you can basically perform an audit on the government anytime you want. There'd be a lot more room for the market to improve things, and also a lot more room for the market to basically undermine the government and create more agorist opportunities for us to live in where we just disregard the government entirely. So
here's the issue with state the FOIA laws is the FOIA laws are constantly flouted, constantly just pushed away. They always go, oh, we're too busy, oh, we can't, or we redact this, blah, blah, blah. The FOIA laws are very difficult to enforce and very difficult to use, which sucks. I can't stand it. But I do like, the reason why I'm saying it is I think citizen audits of these is the best one. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not perfect either, because citizen audit unit groups can be
democracy
co-opted. Yeah, but it's better, but they can be bought. It's true, but they're still better. Meaning that a citizen's audit allows people, more than one person, one group of people, to put pressure on these groups to open up their books. So of that list, I think citizen audit's the best one of those, even though it isn't perfect. It's the best one.
All right. And that will do it. So last chance to enter your scores. Tell us what you think. Tell us who you thought won. And let's jump into the chat here while people are entering their final scores. And we've got 200 to Ben for being emo. Hey, David, welcome. 1,000 to Terry. I don't want her job on this show. Yeah, nobody does. 100 to Carl for science. 100 to Larry for lobbying. That's more important. Minus 100 to Cy just because. 100 to Ben for interrupting. Minus 100. Let Amity know the same person can't be nuked twice on the same show. All right. I think that's been done. and 100 to Ben for nullification, 1,000 to Ben for nullification again, 100 to Ben for conviction on nullification, 50 to Larry for pointing out prosecutor's bias. How many points could Cy Chuck if a Cy Chuck could chuck points? 100 to Chuck because he chucked the points. I want to just say for the record, I think I read that correctly. 42 to Larry, minus 100 to Larry for not decentralizing schools, 100 to Larry for choosing parental choice, 500 to Ben. He nullified the host from reading the question. Yeah, I felt nullified. 100 to Chuck for chucking Cy Chuck. Minus 500 to Carl for balanced budget currency, bad idea. 500 to Free for adding one extra category. Minus 200 for still allowing debate. Minus 50 to Larry, didn't call debate. 500 to Scientific for bringing up Argentina. 100 to Ben, no government solution. 500 to Ben for picking one answer like a good listener. Minus 200 to Ben for not selecting too big to fail bailouts. I am donating 1,000 to Larry in hopes he'll run for office. Every donation counts. And another to 500 for playing sick and dominating the field like the great Michael Jordan. Here we go. Let's go, Larry. 100 to Larry for getting triggered about shitty judges. 100 to Larry for not following the rules. He does what he wants.
True.
That's absolute fact. 1,000 to Free. You haven't been following the rules at this point. Yeah, I did point that out. 200 to Free for calling out Larry about the rules. I could get a lot of points for that. Yeah. Damn, Larry's people are as smart as he is and know his answers before he even answers. 100 to Larry. They all swore an oath to hold them accountable.
Yes.
Chris the Freedom Coach is here. Make sure you're following him and doing his spaces. 100 to Larry for pointing out how judges are overriding the Bill of Rights. I've seen this in family and Department of Child Services with my own 100%. Eyes. No one is above the Bill of Rights. 100 to Larry for brain dead chimps. 100 to Larry for F. Dexter Taylor's judge. 1,000 to Larry for brain dead chimp. Can I know Free because he's the government? Yeah, I don't think that works that way. 100 to Larry for commenting on gerrymandering. 200 to Carl for agreeing with Larry. Always vote no on judges unless you have personal experience with them. 200 to Cy for propping up the power of private property owners. Minus 100 to Cy for wanting nuclear power instead of free energy generator. 100 to Cy, fourth generation reactors. 1,000 to Carl for wanting nuclear power plant in his backyard. Cy is talking about the new thorium nuke plants.
Yep.
Nuke is the most safe, clean energy known at this time, plus 50. 1,000 to Carl for supporting nuclear energy like his uncle Carl did. 1,000 to Cy for
a nuclear physicist.
There you go.
Yeah.
1,000 for Cy, not saying wind and solar. Too crazy to call a winner. So many good answers. Great show. Terry's the real winner. Facts. 500 to Ben for pushing agorism and telling the government to fuck off. Larry wins for explaining libertarianism in a way that didn't sound like a crazy person back in 2015.
True.
Wow. I am gassed after all that. So let's see where we landed. Did Larry make the comeback that he promised, that he called? He called his shot. Did it happen? And it did. Larry wins with 67-92
after being
nuked by
nuked.
Ben. Yeah, squeaking by Ben at 62-85 and Cy way back in 1350, third place. So Cy, you came in third. What did you think, buddy?
It's always the first to be nuked that has the advantage. Never forget that. It's mathematically true, because if you're last to be nuked, you're definitely going to have a big disadvantage. But I'm not complaining. It was a fun time. I loved it.
It was great. You were great. You're always great. So we appreciate everything you do. Ben, you came up a little bit short on your first try here. You had the lead for a while. What'd you think?
No, this is a great time. I had fun. Everyone's cool here. Y'all should move to New Hampshire because we are all smarter than politicians, and you guys can all help us just keep winning out here, nullifying everything. So
it's too cold, like 11 months out of the year for me.
That's not true.
So
like
anything you want to plug?
95 degrees today. Yeah. Check out Punks for Liberty. We're doing a lot of cool stuff. And then, just, I guess, follow me on Twitter at the Emo ANCAP. got some pretty cool announcements coming up. Hints were given tonight. And I hope that you guys will enjoy the content I put out. Oh, yeah. Tomorrow night, Dan Smots is coming on my podcast, Shut the Punk Up. That's going to be on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, pretty much everywhere. So
tell Dan I want to get him on the show too, if
Okay.
you don't mind. He's great. And so, Larry, you called your shot like the great Babe Ruth, another New Yorker. And what did you think tonight?
Great show. I yapped away a lot. I know I did. I was sick and I came on sick. I got sick yesterday and I said, I'm still going to come on. Dee would have been mad at me if I didn't. So I still made it. And I actually, believe it or not, sadly, I had a death in the family too. So I just came back from a wake. So I had a death in the family and I got sick and I still showed up because it mattered. This kind of stuff matters. I enjoy it tremendously. I want people to keep talking about this stuff. These types of shows and things that we do here, I know it's fun and we joke around, but it also gets people to understand what's actually happening. This does have a legacy of real importance, even though we're joking, because people start understanding what's happening and they can speak better about it and they can understand real issues. So I'm very happy you're doing this. Don't stop doing this. I'm happy to come on.
No, love having you, man. You're great on this. So, and you got the win. So pretty exciting stuff.
I got the win.
And let's pull Terry up here. Terry, you had a busy night. What'd you think?
I'm pretty sure busy doesn't cover it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
Are you ready to audit the Fed?
Dear, I am the Fed. I am unauditable. I cannot be audited. Man, you guys in the chat, I saw some people saying there at the end that they typed their fingers off for Larry tonight, and they absolutely did. So I highly recommend that all contestants bring their fans with them when they come. I have a great time when they do that. They get a little nippy in there, and that makes it more exciting for me. So I had a great time. Larry, you're awesome. As always, Ben, it was great to meet you. And Cy, you know I love you.
And let me just say,
So
one
guys,
more time,
if you want to see my show, it's the Sharpe Way YouTube page, and also Facebook and Twitter and all the things. Just look up Larry Sharpe or the Sharpe Way.
And it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen as he speaks.
Yes,
So,
and I have an AMA tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you get on my show 7 p.m. Eastern, ask me whatever you want, and I'll yap about it for 2 hours.
do you have a dinner date on Sunday at 6 as well that we should know about, or something else going on?
Is something happening? Do I know something? No, I don't think. I think I'm off on Sunday. I'm on every day. Except I think I'm off on Sunday.
I'm so glad.
I was at a political event yesterday in Staten Island, and then I had this tonight, and then I have my AMA tomorrow, and I had 3 shows. I do about 10 hours of live content every week.
My goodness, Larry, I sure do love you. I really
Yes, I do a lot.
I will be already trying to book you again here in about 10 minutes.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
so yeah, make sure you're following me and Terry on X, Freedom for Us for All, Bats T76. Donate to Dexter Taylor, Give Send Go, D-Taylor _2A_legal. Thank you to Zano for sponsoring tonight. Your privacy matters. Choose Zano, the leading blockchain platform that prioritizes confidentiality and security. You can get cool shirts at freedomsuperstore.com and check out all of our friends. All of our shows are up there. Take a screenshot and follow our friends. Appreciate all of them. And this was a lot of fun. Thank you to the chat. Absolutely fired tonight. Love you guys. And we will catch you Tuesday night and Friday night next week